to stop me on the street last night. Said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day. I'm right. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your time.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Toffee Bluecast Instant Match Reaction. Everton 2, Ipswich Town 2. You have me and joined by Luke, School of Science, in the studio to give a match reaction. We want you to get involved in the comments and we'll just say how we feel after the game. Please do get involved. Luke, I'll jump on you first. Hit me with your feelings, mate, after that.
Yeah, considering it was the penultimate game at Goodson, bit of a disappointing one, to be honest. Way too many errors, and just we seemed a bit lackadaisy in the second half. I don't know what it is. Ipswich are a team that are relegated. They should be a team that we should be going to and just absolutely dominating from the word go. Just need to be better than that by a long shot. I mean, that squad there. If they were to say to themselves that we play for the club, then I'll call them a liar or just say that, well, you're not playing hard enough.
Yes. I mean, Emma says there, I'm taking it that she means terrible twos, as in we go 2-0 up, and it's probably the worst scoreline this season that we could ever have, because we did it against Bournemouth, 2-0 up. Oh, the Bournemouth game was just disastrous. They come back, I think it was 84th minute, was 2-0 up Bournemouth. And they come back and won 3-2. My God. Then after that, the next game after that, we did exactly the same against Aston Villa. And 2-0 up, and Aston Villa come back and they beat us 3-2 as well. And it's just, I always feel like when we're 2-0, I've got flashbacks of a comeback. If we go 3, I feel like it could be something different. But with that 2, I feel like we always need to get the next goal when it's 2, because it's the terrible twos. It really is the terrible twos. And
It is.
It was the second from last game at Goodison Park. So I just think we needed it. It was nice, but I just think you needed it to be special in a way of actually getting a result as well. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. There needs to be so much more effort from the team out there today. As I said, I mean, Patterson there for that 2-2 goal, I would probably put him as one of the people to blame for it. Just the fact that when he went down up at the top end of the pitch, he just basically laid there thinking, "Oh yeah, I'm going to get I'm going to stop the play because it's meant to be a head injury and all that." I think rather than going down and acting like you've just been shot, you need to get back on your feet unless you are genuinely hurt and cover that ground, because he basically left a massive gap there on the right-hand side for them to exploit. The goal comes from the right-hand side. Now, granted, Jake O'Brien could have done a little bit better. A couple of the midfielders should have done a little bit better, but that's ultimately the position he should have been covering, and instead he was lying down on the pitch at the top end.
Well, on the pre-match show, we had the Ipswich fan on, and it was crazy because I'm not often right, but I was right on everything I said, because I said Delap he'll be dirty on O'Brien, and literally I watched the game. If you go back to the pre-match show, I was like, Delap's going to proper be dirty on O'Brien, and then I watched the game, and not long in, Delap just literally smashes into him, and they have a big spattle and both get a yellow card. I knew it was going to be a dirty game, but it was even worse than I thought. They was really dirty today, weren't they?
They were. Well, to be honest, we both were. We were both hitting each other quite hard in that game today. I mean, you got to give it, well, Delap, the way he was playing today, it just reminds me a bit of like a taller version of Neil Maupay. Just an outright shithouse, in all honesty. Got to give it to the lad in Ciso, was it? The lad who scored the first one for him. Scored a cracking little goal. And to be honest, He played the game well. He didn't. He played dirty in a way, but not the sort of dirty where you're trying to hurt someone. He played to get the foul, and you can see it. He admits to it. He basically says, "Yeah, you got me on that one." He's actually a reasonably likable fellow, but I wouldn't take this singular performance as something to say, "Oh yeah, we should sign him," or "We know we shouldn't sign him." I do think if we were to look at someone like him, we'd have to look over the scope of an entire season for him. But as a lot of people are saying there in the comments right now, we need to make a lot of changes come next season. It's evident in what you can see in front of us. It's too many too many players are sort of hanging behind. Too many injuries, too many places we've got that are just so injury prone. I mean, to be honest, seeing McNeil play today was a very big plus. He was a much better player than what we've had as of late. He's done a lot better on that right compared to say the likes of Lindstrom, Harrison, uh, Ashley Young. He's been one of the shining beacons. Just I want to see so many different changes because what we've got right now is just not. It's not indicative of what the Everton that I've grown up with, you've grown up with, most of the people who are on here grown up with. To be to be fair, mate, Puta, it's not Moyes in this situation. It's the squad as a whole. I mean, the decisions Moyes made in the second half, like the likes of instead of bringing Chimity on, I would have said Broja myself. Bringing Broja on, having him sitting behind Cavaloon was been a much better option than Chimity. Just for the fact that we know that Broja likes to get into the middle of the field and he likes to he likes to be a ball player. So having him and Alcaraz playing together, that could be a good little combination, feeding off for Calvert-Lewin rather than Chimiti, just for the fact that Chimiti is a very similar sort of player to what Calvert-Lewin is. He's someone who likes to sort of have an opportunity. He likes to try and take his chances rather than try and build something from it. Yeah, I do agree. We should have actually brought subs on early. I think what times we ended up bringing the subs on? It was like the 70th to 80th minute. I do think around the 55 to 60 mark, we should have started bringing on the subs slowly, one at a time, letting them bed in, rather than doing the bloody 2-3 in one hit. It just doesn't work. In all honesty, I feel like you're changing too much in too rapid of a succession.
Well, we got a lot of the regulars on. Keep your comments coming in, people. It's great to read them out. We will interact with you and put it on the screen and put your stuff on the screen. I've got a few things here. I mean, firstly, I'll put this on the screen first. It was a cracking display, wasn't it, Luke, from the 1878s?
Absolutely beautiful display. The 1878 should be extremely proud of what they've done there. The whole fan base as well should be proud of the effort we've put into this second to last game. If what the fans have done for this club was reflected on the field, we would have won the title by now because we have got, without being biased, we have got the best fan base in this league. And I don't mean just with the tifos and all the stuff that we do inside of the stadium. Just I want you to look around the likes of our away allocation. We sell out every single game. Getting tickets to the game this season is like trying to get gold dust. It is literally one of the hardest things you could probably do at this point in time. But the team
I just wanted a win just with that display, with how good it was. The pitch was full of the confetti, wasn't it? Absolutely everywhere. The pitch was all yellow and blue. I thought it was really cool, actually, that all the stuff ended up on the pitch.
That might have had a factor in the game.
What's that, sorry?
Do you think all that confetti litter in the pitch might have had a factor in the game at all, or do you think I'm kind of splitting hairs there?
Well, when you were just talking about it, then obviously I was listening to what you say because you say some cracking stuff. And people in the comments as well, they were saying their stuff. But for me personally, like when it was someone said about, is it still Moisaya? I think Moyes put the team out that everybody wanted, other than Patterson. I feel there was big questions on Patterson. I watched Patterson again today, and he backs off too much for me. He backs off, and lets the player get the shot away. And I think, what's the point in you even being a right back if you're going to do that? Because you're letting the player do exactly what he wants. He doesn't I really wanted Patterson to play well, and I thought there was a good player there. But now in the last 2 games, it's gutting, but he just isn't. He isn't good enough. I'm sorry as well because he's a cracking person, but we need a good right back, not a good person. And he just backs off. He's done it a couple of times. He shimmers, backs off, and the player can go left, right, and shoot wherever he wants. So he's not forcing the player to be uncomfortable for me, Patterson. But other than that, Luke, we didn't want to see Michael Keane. We had O'Brien, Brantthwaite, we had Mikalenko. I think has been fantastic. We had him left back. We all wanted to see Alcaraz today, and I feel Alcaraz was playing for a contract, which I really want him to get, and I think Alcaraz was fantastic. But we had it was the team that we wanted. So where some people say you can't put it on Moyes because at the end of the day, we went 1-0 up, we went 2-0 up. And the players wasn't tired when we was 2-0 up. So with how good we was with those players on the pitch, there's no reason why we shouldn't have gone 3-4-0 up. So I don't think it was on substitutions because the game should have already... But we shouldn't have gone in at half-time, 2-1 down. That was the big factor. I don't think they was in the game at all. We was all... It felt like at first, when you're first watching that game and you see Beto score, cracking header.
Yeah. It was a classic header that.
Yeah, I've got a little picture there because I do like Beto. It was a good header, wasn't it?
I'm gutted he didn't get the overhead kick. That was a smashing overhead kick, that.
Yeah, he's a beast. He is. I was so happy, Luke, when he scored. So then he scored, and then all of a sudden you go and see McNeil ping one in. That was a cracker, wasn't it, by McNeil?
Undershot. That was an absolute little rocket, that.
It swerved, didn't it? It swerved, didn't it, Lou?
It did. The way it sort of went in the air, it looked like the way it actually moved in the air, it looked like the wind might have caught it just a bit to put it out of reach of the keeper. But I tell you what, I do think if McNeil's able to get over his injury issues, then he's definitely one to stick in the squads. I mean, I could potentially risk it and say having McNeil, Ndiaye, and Alcaraz in the same lineup is why we actually scored those goals. If it wasn't for them, I do hazard that we would have probably lost this. Could have been a 2-1. Because I mean, looking at the goals there, so you're talking an assist by Alcaraz. So let's say you didn't have Alcaraz in the squad. That assist was never that goal was never happening without Alcaraz hitting it. Because Mikalenko would hit that ball, it bounced off the player, and he was quick enough and sharp enough to have got to that ball to get that cross in. So we would have been one less goal in that regard. And then the second goal for McNeil, if he wasn't in the squad, who else is scoring that sort of shot? We don't have anyone else in the squad who can hit the ball like that.
No, I completely agree with you. I think two players that haven't been playing have come in and been a big part of us going 2-0. And Alcaraz's cross, it's fantastic because a lot of our crosses are normally floated, and Alcaraz's cross had a lot of speed on it, didn't it? Where Beto didn't need to. It was a cracking header, but Beto didn't need to do much because the cross was that good. All he had to do was direct it, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. The cross that he put in is what Everton have been begging for in a while. It's the way we've played. What you need to do in them sort of situations is the ball doesn't need to loft. It doesn't need to arc. It just needs to be launched. And if you've got to play with a decent enough reaction time, and all they have to do is just put it onto their head and direct it. That's all they have to do. So this is actually one that made me laugh as well. If anyone actually looked at this on the telly, near the end of the game when they actually subbed Alcaraz and McNeil off, there was a coach there with a big clipboard with set pieces written on it. And I'm looking at that thinking, is there just a big piece of paper in there with McNeil's name just on it? That's it, just McNeil. It's like, here's me set piece thing. It's McNeil. Because when he went off that pitch, because I put it on Twitter, I said, if Dom comes on, McNeil will have a field day because Dom loves them sort of shots, them sort of little pokes, likewise with Alcaraz. The two of them either side there, just love putting them balls in. He will love getting his noggin on them because that's his bread and butter.
Yeah, when Calvert-Lewin come off, he's probably gutted to see McNeil go off because you're not going to
get any service.
Yeah, you're not going to get the service when you come on. Jack Harrison
it's always the final third for us. It's always the final third. While we were up there throughout this entire time in this entire game, every time we were up there, you can see in the final third, a lot of the players don't know what to do now that they're there. I mean, Bar, Ndai, and Alcaraz, and I don't know, maybe Beto. You're watching the lads, and they're just passing it around the edge of their box, thinking, "Okay, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do?" They just look like they're in a situation of, "Okay, we've got the ball here. How do we work with it now? We don't normally do anything with it around here. We normally just get it in the net." They don't know how to sort of move it about and actually create that opening for the header or for the shot. They don't seem to have that sort of creativity, which is it's a shame really because it just against been such a good servant. Garner had a bit of a shocking game today, to be honest. A few moments there where he could have done a bit better. And you're looking at the lads in the defence. I mean, Mikolenko, it's great seeing him getting upfield and everything, but we know what his sort of tactic is when he's coming up and actually hitting the ball. It's he gets close to the byline and he thumps it with his left foot and it just floats in, and either the keeper gets his hands on it, the defender gets it, or once in a blue moon, Jake O'Brien gets something on it.
No, I can completely agree with you. I mean, a lot of people in the comments saying, Paul, there in the comments, a lot of people saying that we do need new players in, and we do need new players in. We do need options. It's interesting because we have got a decent team. We have got the base there. I mean, I think O'Brien and Brantwaite are cracking. What did you think of? Obviously, Tarkowski out is a massive. I wish we had Tarkowski this game because it was an aggressive game, and I feel sometimes where there was a couple of fights and Delap was being a bit of a mushroom, let me just say that without swearing, when he was being a little bit of an idiot, I think Tarkowski would have run over and had him. I think like you needed someone to go over him, stop it. The referee was a bit weird, wasn't he, Luke? Like every little argument, yellow for both players, even if it wasn't massively down to one player. He just give both players a yellow, even if one player did nothing.
I'm not going to lie, that referee was a bit all over the show today. He didn't have a good grasp on the game. In all fairness, I don't even know who he is. I think he's one of the newer refs. But watching him in this game, he was letting balls go and carry on when he shouldn't have, and he was stopping play when it was unnecessary. The only thing I will say though, with regards to Tarkowski, I think he would have got a red today. If he would have played, he would have got a red today because he would have launched the lap into the crowd.
Yeah,
he would have grabbed him by the throat and put him into the crowd. I mean, to be honest, when he had a crack at Jake O'Brien, Jake basically stood up to him and said, "You what?" He was ready to
Jake
him straight back down to the floor. He's like I said, he's a 6 foot fucking Neil Maupay. Sorry for the swearing. But he's a 6 foot Neil Maupay. He has had a good season, but what we've got to take into account is he's scored 12 goals so far in this season. But prior to all them, he's been a missing entity. He hasn't been great. His goals to game ratio is not great in the seasons prior. So he's only had one season. I wouldn't personally. I've said, oh yeah, it might be worthwhile looking at the lap and all that. But now that I've actually seen him in this game, I wouldn't waste my breath on him. In all honesty, I'd be rather going for that other lad. That lad who scored the nice little thumper. Mark Doyle saying,
"Yeah, you know what? I like him, the lad from Brighton. I know he's a good, in Cisco, however you say his name, but he is like, I like him. I knew he was a good player, and I was really surprised Ipswich got him from Brighton, and I knew he's got a shot on him because he was good for. I was really surprised. I think he did it against Man City one time. I watched him. He scored a screamer against Man City for Brighton, and then Ipswich got him, and he's a good little number 10. He is. I'm interested to see where he goes because I think he's a cracking player. Gutting that we let him have that shot though. Like you said, Luke, I think you've got to look for your centre midfielders to close him down or your centre backs to close him down. You can't be letting someone have a shot that's good at shooting like he is.
Yeah, in that situation, I think both Jussi Gonagay and James Garner need to take ownership for that one because when Enciso actually had the ball there. He got into a point where he was between Garner and James Garner, Jussi Gay and James Garner. What he should, in them situations, both of those guys, they basically, because it was between their zones, they were in they broke down in communication. It was almost like this is the problem with having Garner and Garner. Because I like to call the Jussi Garner. So when you have Garner and Garner in between each other, they're basically pointing the finger at each other saying, he's yours now. He's yours because he's basically went from a Jussi Gay zone into Garner's zone, and Garner thinks that Jussi Gay's going to still have him, but Jussi Gay thinks that Garner's going to have him because they've basically crossed zones at that point. So in them situations, he should. One of them needed to just pull a leg out or just get in the way. The amount of times I've seen goals go in where all it would have taken is one player just who's standing off probably only a few inches. All he had to do was get in the way. Here we are. So Rod Ross saying there, last question. Did Moyes effort up again with his game management? No. Not for the initial starting 11. With the substitutions, in a way, but the ownership needs to be on the players in this one. It's the players who didn't put the good performance in. What we've got to bear in mind is these guys are professional athletes playing at the top level of football. They should all have the physicality, the endurance to be able to see this game out and actually put the effort in. So I wouldn't put it on Moyes for this one, Rod. What's this? LTEL. The ref was bad. His decision making was poor. Yes, it was. It was absolutely. It was dreadful to say the least. I mean, there were situations there. I mean, for the second goal there, because it was clash of heads, by the rules, the referee should have stopped the game immediately so that they could receive medical attention. He did it prior to this this transition of play. So what's stopping him from doing it now?
No, there was. I'm not going to put that other comment up.
Yeah,
But,
don't worry about that one.
There's a lot of no. There was a lot of decisions that were just random. I feel. I mean, there was an elbow. The elbow went on. Did you know where Delap got a yellow card? Right.
Oh, the elbow on Branthwaite.
And
That should have been another yellow.
That's what I'm saying. Straight after Delap's got a yellow card, he's deliberately gone and smashed into Branthwaite's stomach as he's cleared it. And it's full on deliberate, and I don't see. I'm pretty sure if it like equals a red, it should go to VAR, and it would have been a red. So I don't see how even Delap knows if he's going smashing into a player after getting a yellow card, you're going to get a red. And he is dirty, and he has been sent off. And Ipswich have been getting a lot of red cards. I don't wish red cards on players, by the way, but I'm just thinking if that was one of our players, we would have got a red card 100%. If that was Ashley Young, he probably would have got a red card, but he shouldn't have got away with that. And we probably wouldn't have lost the game if he didn't. And we just let it pass. We just let it pass and just like, oh, all right, then fair enough. But at the end of the day, Delap smashing into Brantford, that should have been a red card. If the referee's doing his job and going by the rules, that nobody can tell me watch that Delap thing, Luke, and say that on Branthwaite it wasn't a yellow card. So I don't get why it wasn't.
There was intent. There was intent there. It's a second yellow, but the only problem is because it was a yellow card and not a straight red offence, VAR didn't intervene. That's the only reason behind it. But Delap, though, I wouldn't entertain them, to be honest. I mean, in the previous game when we played them away and when we beat them, he was very similar to that. He was basically the same player there. He was basically trying to bully his way around the pitch and trying to say to the defense, "I'm here. I'm gonna get past you. I'm gonna hurt you and all this." Tarkowski wasn't having it. Tarkowski just basically put him in his corner and just said, "Sit down there, behave yourself."
He just do it proper dirty player. I didn't think we could concede the third the way it was going. We just shambled, didn't we? It would have been really a proper. I think 2-2 was the dampener. When this happened, when Beto scored, right, and then he's celebrating, I thought, yes, nice and early. And then all of a sudden McNeil got one. I got a bit of that Brighton game in my head, Luke, where we was going to get 4 or 5 goals. And it was going to be the perfect, like, Goodison day, sunny day, Goodison, all the banners from the 1878. So I thought this is going to be another Brighton where we batter this team. Because you could see us celebrating like we was going to batter them as well, because it was so easy when Beto scored, then McNeil scored, and it was like, yes, we are going to batter this team. So it just felt like it was going to be the perfect day. But we just, after that, we always do it. We just switched off. And I think the moment we let a team get the second goal, the moment we let the team get a goal back in, say when it goes 2-1, we shit our pants, don't we? We can't get it going again. We just didn't get it going after that, did we? It was always a close game after that. Instead of us saying, you know what, we should have been 3-0, so let's go 3-1.
The only thing is, I think this is one of the problems with the team at the moment is for one, we're a skeleton crew right now. We're missing Tarkowski badly. We're still missing a lot of players. I do think we just need to build on the team that we've got, but we need to get players whose mentality is, I don't care how many goals up we are, we're going to keep going at them. Because when that second goal went in, we just let our foot off the gas so badly. We just slowed down almost to a halt. And as a result, they pushed on. They found our holes and they exploited them. And then come the second half, I don't know what was said in that dressing room, but I don't think it sunk in. I would have expected the likes of Leighton Baines, Coleman, and Moyes to have basically went in there and screamed at them as if we were a goal down to say, "How dare you go concede the goal from a team like this? These are the type of team that don't know how to win. We need to be pushing at these as hard as we can. We need to make sure we're getting enough goals that if they do score another, we don't have to worry about it." But obviously that didn't sink into the players. I mean, I do think we are missing that leadership of Tarkowski in a way, because as you know, he's very vocal to these players. Now, don't get me wrong, Pickford's vocal as well. You'll hear Pickford before you see him in a way. But we do miss Tarkowski, especially with the defending.
I could hear David Moyes as well today. Jake O'Brien went to take a throw in, and I could hear Moyes shout, "O'Brien, no, get in the box." And O'Brien went in the box and Garner went long throw. And you could hear Moyes going mad on the sideline. People get involved in the comments on this. I'm just going to ask you a few questions. Get involved in the comments, and I'll put it on Luke as well. We keep talking about strikers. Toilet break, little one here. Keep talking about strikers. Oh, should we have this striker? Because the partner's going toilet. How about her up front? You know what I mean?
Little one. How's it going, little Toffee?
Little Toffee. What did you think of the Everton game? Was you happy with it? That she basically said in baby language, it was 2-0 up. Shit. We let them come back 2-2, and it should have been better than that. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, she's smart. No, but here's one for you then, people in the comments. Let us know here, right? We keep talking about strikers and we act like this man doesn't exist. I thought he was really good today, you know, and I don't feel we always speak about him like he doesn't exist. But he has scored quite a few goals for us this season and he's not even got going yet. And I thought it was a really good goal. I think if we can get good balls in the box and our wingers are better, do you think Beto could be good, Luke? And I'm cool for you saying no, but I actually think he could be good.
I don't know. In all honesty, I mean, we've had different variants of people who can provide for him, and he seems to be so hot and cold. Sometimes he goes on a big goal surge. I think he got 4 goals in as many games at one point, and then he had a drought of about 5. It's one of them. I do think if he was back in Serie A, he'd be thriving. If he was at the likes of Inter Milan, if he was like Torino, Napoli, Roma, I do think he'd be thriving. But I think we need someone with pace now. I do think we need 3 up front or 3 wingers, well, 2 wingers and an attacker who have got legs on them. At the moment, we've got tricks for days, but we just don't have that breakneck speed. We don't have someone, let's say for argument's sake, a corner comes against us, we clear the ball. We don't have someone who can get on that ball and they're gone. We're missing that so badly. Because the thing is, they don't have to even be amazing with the ball at their feet. If they're average with the ball at their feet and they're absolutely blisteringly fast, they can get that ball up the field. They can get it, say, to the 18-yard box. And either reinforcements come up and give them something, or they can have a crack themselves. It comes off the keeper or something, and then we've got someone to clean up. But as a lot of people are saying, oh, that's a good point. Rod's made a good point there. Where's the forfeits? That better go forces the forfeit clause. Ooh. Did we agree on what the forfeit was? Wasn't it going to be like similar to what our Albanian friend did, where he has to jump into cold water?
We'll have Paul. Don't worry, he's not on the show today. But if Paul has said that Beto won't score a certain amount and he's matched that amount, we will be getting Paul. No one escapes the Toffee Bluecast, mate. If you're in this studio, you face the consequences. So we'll add them up. And if Beto scored enough for Paul to do a forfeit, I am game for putting Paul on the spot. 110%. Emma says, see DCL laughing at his overhead kick.
I think he was laughing more down to the fact that Dom was probably thinking, look at me, if I did that, I'd be injured.
Not like he did much when he came on. Is it? Calvert-Lewin didn't really do much when he went on long either, was he?
To be fair, he's been out since, January? Late Jan? Early Feb? So what we've got to take into account there is he's got to blow the dust off. I mean, when Ndai came on for the first time after being injured for a while, he had to blow the dust off. Likewise with McNeil. Same again with so many players.
Altel says basically same as you. We are lacking pace in departments, especially on the wings and left back and right back. And you said you want a pacey striker. So I've done Beto, and get involved in the comments on what we're talking about here. I've seen a few people say this is Alcaraz's moment, but it's crazy because I read this article that says Everton don't want to pay the clause 15 million for Alcaraz and they're trying to negotiate less. Well, for me, you've got to be careful because if you try and negotiate less and another club comes in, they'll take Alcaraz. Because I personally think Alcaraz is a really good player. I really do. I think he's an Everton type player because he's got like a bit of fight in him and stuff like that. Oh, yeah. What's your thoughts? I'm a yes to get an Alcaraz, basically.
I love the lad. I absolutely love the lad. He's something that we've been missing for a long time. He reminds me very much of Fellaini, as funny as it sounds. Sort of player. He's not afraid to get stuck in to a player. When he has the ball at his feet, if you watch him play today, when he was moving up that field, he was basically taking on their players. He wasn't trying to get around them. He was going through their players. They tried to hack him down and he just carried on. He didn't, unless he actually was hurt, he just kept going and kept going and kept going. They had to take the legs off of him to stop him. And even then, he got himself straight back up and ran on with it. He did everything he could. So I think what you've got there, I mean, as Eltel said there, Alcaraz for 15 million, no brains, his quality. He's like Rodri a bit. Yeah, I agree with you in that regard. The only thing is, how have they sort of structured that 15 million? Have Flamengo turns around and says, right, we want, is it Flamengo or Flamenco? That's a good point. We'll talk about that. So
Flamengo.
I think I'm not, I don't know. But I'm not sure whether they want 15 million in liquid assets immediately or whether they want the 15 million over the course of a contract. So let's say, for argument's sake, we sign them for 3 years. It then goes to 5 million, 5 million, 5 million, or whether they want the 15 million there, then, and now. If they want the 15 million there, then, and now, that can be an issue for a football club because what we've got is assets rather than actual liquids, actual money in the bank. So when you buy a player, they will say, okay, we want, let's say Everton go for Declan Rice. We pay 50 million for Declan Rice. Now, I don't know how much he's actually worth. But Arsenal will say, right, we're happy to take, 10 million right now. You have to sign them on a 5-year deal and you pay us 10 million over the course of every season, at the beginning of a season or midway through the season. That's how most of the business works in this day and age. And most football clubs, you probably have about maybe 20 to 30 million in an actual liquid cash flow sitting in a bank ready for signings or wages. Everything else is all tied up in sponsorship deals, stadium deals, Premier League position deal, Premier League position prize, TV, and other forms of assets that are, like leaked here, there, and everywhere. So you've got to take all this into account when it comes to actually signing the deal. But don't get me wrong, I want Alcaraz. He's a really good player. And I think him and Ndai are a nice little duo in this game today. Even though Ndai didn't have a great game, it worked. It actually did work because although they are similar, you can actually see a slight difference in between the two of them. So the way Ndai plays his game, he beats players and he gets around players. Whereas when Alcaraz plays, he beats players by going through them. He will bulldoze through a player and he'll hack a player down in order to get the ball. I think if you were to play, let's say for argument's sake, the next game Fulham, I do think if we were to sacrifice James Garner out of all of them, you could have it where Alcaraz plays behind in die, and then you have Brozier. So you basically lose Garner, gain Brozier, and you could have the same sort of format. So 4-2-3-1, let's say. And you're going to have Beto back up top. So you got Brozier providing Beto, Indai's providing from that point. Alcaraz is picking it up around the areas of just a gay. And as we know, Alcaraz can then hack down any players that get in his way. Hopefully he does it to, who's that one that I don't like? Traore, the dude that looks like he's on steroids. Yeah. So what was this from Altel? Sorry. Dude, built like an absolute unit and I don't like it. He makes me feel small.
Traore does need a good crunch. He's a very big man. He's got big arms and he likes his Vaseline. The Altel says it's all about structure, not payments. Or just give the 15 million up front either way. This is what I'm saying. I don't want us to, when we know what the transfer window's like when it gets going, and a lot of people, I feel, other Premier League clubs will want Alcaraz. I think he's a really good player, and that when everyone starts getting involved in the transfer window, someone will pay more than 15 million for Alcaraz. I'm telling you, they will pay more, and I don't want us to get our fingers cut off by trying to haggle too cheap. You're not going to get a player like Alcaraz cheaper than 15 million. You're not, because when that transfer window gets going, he'll be 20-25 million if other teams start looking at him. So I really would snap him up because he's aggressive. He's got quality. He hasn't been given a chance with David Moyes much, which is a bit disappointing. That's the only thing that's frustrating me with Moyes is that he hasn't played Alcaraz as much as I'd like. But I do feel we've got to keep Alcaraz, like you've just said, Luke, and Giant Alcaraz. They're off-seat players a little bit. They'll do something, won't they? Even the headbutt today, where Alcaraz went head to head with that player that was dirty on him. Alcaraz went head to. Alcaraz is a nutter. I want nutters at Everton. I want your Rooney's like nutters, your Gascoignes and your Duncan Fergusons. We need a bit of that. We need a bit of character, and Alcaraz will definitely get on. So Beto. Luke's not sure. I'm saying yes. Some people in the comments are the same, 50-50. Alcaraz, me and Luke are agreed on Alcaraz. We would go for Alcaraz. Patterson, I mean, I'm just talking on a few players that played today, kind of saying, did they earn the right to stay at Everton? Patterson, what's your thoughts, Luke?
Squad player. He's someone who I think could come on, and he does okay as someone who's like a fill-in. But as a starting 11, nah, not for me, in all honesty. I do think he's decent going up, don't get me wrong. Watching the play today, when he got up the field and he was able to cross the ball, he did well. He did all right. He actually got it into the box. Much better than what a few right-backs we've had over the course of time, the past, say, 2-3 seasons have done in all fairness. I mean, I would be more inclined to see if we were ever to play wing-backs, he'd probably do a little bit better in that regard. But as a right back, as a firm right back, he's not doing it. For me, he can't get up the field and back. He can only go in one direction, and he just leaves us open when we come back. So if we're playing the 4-2-3-1 in the future, it's not going to work for him. I do think he'd be a bench warmer in that regard.
I've got two more players off the top of my head. I'm just looking what people think with Patterson. Some are a fan. Let's have a look what we've got. Patterson is going back to Rangers. It wouldn't surprise me if he went out. He needs game time. I don't think he's good enough. We'd either keep him as backup or he'll go out on loan. We definitely need. I don't think that I think Coleman will be finished. He'll probably get the last game at Goodison Park and he'll be finished. He's doing a lot of work with the fans at the minute, so I think that's the first sign that he's going to be finished. And I think Ashley Young. Do you think we'll give Ashley Young another contract, Luke?
Absolutely not.
No.
39 going on 40, mate. I mean, for crying out loud, if they're gonna start keeping someone like that, they might as well sign me. I mean, I would like to argue and say that I actually have more endurance than Ashley Young. I honestly would say that. I've got more endurance because I'm going to be playing a game of football tomorrow, and I think I could probably last longer than him. Over on the time, so pressure told. Yeah, we did get overrun. That's why I was saying about the likes of Patterson and co. They are great going up. Don't get me wrong, they're solid sort of player going up, but when it comes to coming back covering ground and being able to actually intercept, they're severely lacking in that regards. I don't think he's the sort of player we really want. Who's we need someone who's a bit hard hitting as a right back. We're missing another Coleman, to tell you the truth. I do think if you were to put Jake O'Brien back in that position, it's a good replacement. It's a 6 out of 10 replacement, though. It's not an 8 or a 9 out of 10 replacement. It's not another Coleman in that sort of regard. We do need someone who's actually a bit more solid, and potentially look. Go on.
Do you know when you've got an example? When Walker was good, I'm not the biggest fan of Walker, but when Walker was good for Man City, when a winger goes against Walker, you fancy Walker to beat the winger every time. Like a winger just could not take on him as a right back. And I think we just need a right back that's got more chance of stopping the winger than the winger going past him. That's just the basics of it. Like Patterson, I am shitting my pants that he's going to get done. And I think we need a right back that is hard to beat. I think that's the reason that O'Brien was so good right back. We need a right back like O'Brien, basically, because you can't run past him because he's fast. You can't outstrength him because he's strong. And he's calm on the ball. So if we could clone a player like O'Brien to play right back, that's what we need. Because I think O'Brien was fantastic right back. He was good centre back today as well. But we just need someone like that, don't we, Luke, that's just got it all.
Yeah. The thing is, unfortunately, my cloning machine's broken at the moment. So I've got bloody flux capacitors.
Well,
I thought you have one. They're a damn dozen, but they keep breaking all the time.
Every time you get on your clone machine.
Every time I try and clone Jake O'Brien, it keeps coming out Scottish.
Well, you need to sort it out and fix it, mate, and stop getting bad clones because we don't want no frigging inbred clones. We want good, pure clones, mate, on your clone machine. So. But there's one more player. There's two more. Actually, there's two more players, and we'll just talk about these two. But all I'm talking about is players like, are they earning the right to keep us? Because we're coming to the end of the season, and I'm looking at them today, and I feel a lot. The season's finished, and you can tell a little bit with the way we're playing. I feel a lot of players playing for the contracts of Everton now, and I'm trying to talk about them a little bit. Jack Harrison.
No, and honestly, he's come bright over under Moyes at the moment. He's actually starting to find his way a bit. But I do think the position that he likes to play in is just way too heavily bolstered. We've got too many people who like to operate off that left. So I do think, I personally don't think he's one for the future. I would like for us to get him on another loan, but I just think it's going to be second base, same as the first sort of thing. He's not going to improve that much for us to ever consider paying 25 million for him.
Sending the clones. It makes a good point. The comments coming in, keep your comments coming in. The match reaction after the game. It's Garner's position that needs addressing. Play Alcaraz in Garner's position at the side of Garner Gay, and then play Njai in the 10. I like that. I think that could be a good combination because Alcaraz does often come back into the middle and help out, doesn't he? So he's more than capable.
You always see him whenever the opposition press at us. You always see him at the very edge of our box, ready to intercept or get the ball and move on with it. So him and Guy would have a very decent little relationship, I think. And I mean, that's where James Garner can still come into it. He can play a bit part in that sort of thing. So if Alcaraz, let's say for instance, sake, he's making too many fouls, he's got a yellow early on, and he's sort of losing his head a bit, that's when you put James Garner back in, or even having him operate off the right. As we know, he can play as a right winger or a right back, not to a great degree, but he does better than absolutely nothing. But yeah, I do think if you would for this, let's say for next game, Fulham, tough opposition, it's away from home, it's at Craven Cottage, horrible place to go to for us. We don't have a great record at Craven Cottage, so I do think that would be a nice one to experiment with. And I mean, we know what Takori's like. He likes to play away from home. He doesn't like playing at home. We put him back in there. I'm only saying, just so you know, I'm only saying this just to get the comment section going.
No, yeah. Well, what are we going to sign Takori? That's going to be an injury. There's just so much stuff. There's so much stuff in the air. I don't know whether we will. Another one. So Harrison would kind of know in the comments. I don't think a lot have been impressed by Harrison. We've had him twice on loan. But they did say David Moyes is a fan of him, so I'm not sure what's going to happen in that department. I really don't. That'll be an interesting one. Calvert-Lewin, we all thought he's seen his contract out, and Calvert-Lewin is finished, and he's going to leave Everton now. But then a few people have come out and said that Everton are trying to sit down with Calvert-Lewin and give him a contract. Luke, talk to me. And in the comments, people.
It's not what from what I've heard. Apparently, this isn't the case. From what I've heard, it's the agent who's coming at Everton saying, "Is that contract back up for negotiation?" And from what I have been informed, Everton have turned around and said, "There's no contract now. If Dominic Calvert-Lewin would like to negotiate a contract, we would be more than happy to negotiate a contract, but it will not be the contract that he was originally offered." So it's going to be an interesting couple of months, to say the very least, because once he's out of contract, I don't see many Premier League teams going for him. Hell, I don't even see half of the Championship teams wanting to look at him because he's got too high of a wage bill on him at the moment. The only people I see going for him would be a French team, Italian team, or even maybe a German team, because those sort of paced games would be more down to his sort of play style. Right now, when in the Premier League sort of standards, he gets battered pillar to post unless the ball's put on his head, and the defenders that are either sides of him are pretty much comatose. It's one of those. I mean, Eltel's just put it there saying,
DCO.
I sign him. I personally, if let's say for argument's sake we were to sign him, I would either say, right, you're on the same wages you're on right now, or you are taking a slash in wages by say 10 to maybe even 20%. More down to the fact that your contribution to the team has taken a significant dip, and the fact that you have turned around and said, I want to see what else is out there. We take this as an insult to the club, and you have also basically insulted the fan base as a result of doing this. So you need to face your repercussions, and you need to rebuild your value in this club again.
Yes, Sir Dom. It is one that's caused a bit of trouble when I like putting these on you, because you are getting involved in the comments. He's Brazilian. He only costs 50 million. Would you have him back or not?
On a loan, absolutely. I would get him back on a loan with a option to buy. So, I mean, basically what we have with Pienaar. When Pienaar went to Spurs, he didn't make the impact. Come back to us on a loan, and then we made it a permanent deal. I do think if he was to come back, it would definitely be a nice little breath of fresh air. And as we know, he can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can play as a centre point up top. And I know a lot of people are going, no, he's injury prone, he's this, he's that. What you've got to take into account when we say injury prone, when he plays for Tottenham, he was injury prone. But that's more down to the fact of Tottenham being Tottenham. Their physio team is absolutely terrible. They might as well have me doing the physio. I will look at someone's leg being, instead of being a nice, simple one of these, being bent upwards and going, yeah, it looks like a slight little sprain. You'll be fine. Give it a couple of weeks. Their physio team is absolutely atrocious. Don't get me wrong, ours is not exactly a brilliant, well-beaten physio team. But I do think he would do better back with us than he would at the likes of Spurs. I like it, as even Eltel said there, definitely have him back. Fast workhorse, plays most positions. Fans love him. He loves us, gives us a massive lift. Yeah, he plays for the fans. I mean, we got him when he was a young lad. I do think him coming back, it wouldn't be considered a swan song or anything like that. I do think that'll be his second wind. Also, did I really just see a lizard? You absolute lizard, lad.
Do you know what, though? I honestly do believe, let me find it. I think that, because when you look at all the Everton legends that are on this, do you know that banner there, Luke, on the third picture down? When you look at all the Everton legends in there, I think they put Richarlison in there to try and get him back. And I did see that Richarlison on his Instagram, he retweeted it, and put love on the picture of that banner with him on it, with the flare. And someone's made a move to get Richarlison back there. But some people are fuming. They're like, no, you don't go back. He's injury prone. And they're just peed off that someone wants someone back. They think they think you're not allowed to want someone back. It's moving backwards instead of forwards. But I understand that with some players, yes. But with Richarlison, I think no, because at the end of the day, if we can get Richarlison fit and he plays, he's miles better than anyone we've got attacking. Miles better than anyone. I'm not joking with that either. Like, I think if Richarlison did come home, and Everton is his home, trust me, if he did come home, I think he'd be a man on a mission. And if you could get him fit and you could get him playing on that left wing and let Njai actually move into the 10, you imagine Richarlison and Njai together. That would be dangerous. So it's people that say no, you're just saying it because you peed off his gone and you're just on strike. I honestly do believe if you could get him back, if it's on loan, you're not losing much either. You get him back, you get him fit. Because we need players that are above us. And Richarlison left to get Champions League because he can be that standard. We've seen it for Brazil. So if we got him back and we got him fit, Richarlison could be a good weapon for next season. So I'm 100% yes, I would have Richarlison back. And I'm not having no one getting on to me for saying I'd have him back because I know for a fact if we signed a winger, would he be better than Richarlison? Probably not. I don't think he would be. It's hard to get someone that good, isn't it, Luke?
Notto. The only person I would say that would come even close would be Wilfred Notto. And we are not going to get him back. We're not going to get him for any amount of money in the world. Leeds are going to hold on to him. Like, they're going to hold on to him like a pit bull holding on to a chunk of steak.
Especially him scoring to get them up as well. He scored when they come up as well. So I just think we've got to be sensible. And people probably think now the freaking group have got loads of money and we're in the new stadium that we're going to have loads of cash to spend next season. I think we've still got to be sensible. And if you could say you could get Richarlison on loan and you could get Alcaraz for 15 million to add them to Njai and McNeil, I think that's quite dangerous. I'll probably get one more really fast, exciting winger, and I think we've got a bit of spice there. And I do like that Richarlison could play winger and striker. I think that's a good weapon. I don't even know if we'd be able to get him from Spurs, but he obviously still does love Everton with that banner, doesn't he? But the Richarlison topic will go on. This is about the end of the show, people. This is a match reaction. I want just a sentence now to tell me right now how you're feeling after that game. So just tell me and we'll read it out. We'll put them on. After that game, how do you feel? And be honest. Luke, you go first, then I'll go first.
All I can say is, Everton, you frustrate the ever-loving hell out of me, but I simply love you more than I love life itself.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like that on the banner. It's a good one. And mine would be, you know what? I'm sick of this 2-0 crap, right? If we go 1-0 up, just let them go 1-1. Do not ever go 2-0 up. Don't go 2-0 up, Everton. You can't do that. So just remember that. I would fancy us more to let them go 1-1 and win 2-1 than this 2-0 curse. The 2-0 curse is real. Don't know what we've got to do to get rid of it, but I hate 2-0 this season. Like, we should not be letting Ipswich come back and score 2 goals when we're 2-0 up. It's really bad. And it shows today. I don't know whether we're playing. I don't know. We've just gone off the boil today. And some people will say, oh, the season's done. It don't matter. It does matter because this is pre-season now for next season. I believe it's pre-season. These games that we're watching now, just extra games ready for pre-season to see what we need. And no, can't keep letting 2-0 go. Imagine if we needed that to stay up and we should be playing like we've still got, like, we're in a relegation battle. No, not good enough.
Absolutely.
Not happy. Peed off a little bit. Yeah, so I am going to still be peed off. I'm going to end the show a little bit peed off with my thoughts. Let's see what people have got in the comments. How do they feel with their sentences on how they feel after the game? Let's have a look. There's loads of comments. Thanks, everyone, for commenting as well. If you haven't hit that subscribe,
why not?
Please do so. Let's have a look. What have we got? Richie, another 5 players. He used to score 8 to 10 a season, Richarlison.
Also, quick questions in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed, why are you a copite?
Yeah, good point. I like that one.
But I've got some here that will lift your mood that I think you'll actually enjoy. And I think the comment section will like it as well.
Here we go. There's some reactions. Chuck that on in 1 second, Luke. What are you going to say? Hold it with me. Annoyed, Scout says. Paul's so much better on comments than me. Another 2-goal lead squandered. That's how he feels. I like this one by Danny Ennis, Luke. Meh. That's probably... Meh. Meh. Like, sat down to watch the game all excited. Meh.
He's secretly Beaker in the background going,
yeah. Pissed off and very concerned. The freaking group need to stand up. The play quickly. I like this. See, we don't always have to end happy because we want to have a good season next season, you know. And today just wasn't good enough. We shouldn't be drawing against Ipswich after having a 2-0 lead. I think if you're okay with that, then we will go back to our old ways. Feels like a loss. Yeah, it does feel like a loss. And I found a fiver. Feels like a loss. A tenner, and I found a fiver. Yeah, I get it. It does feel like that, actually. Yeah, okay, but not. I get that. Eugenia says, Everton bottle it again against Ipswich at Goodison today. You're right. Let's keep these comments coming up. I like it that you're all commenting. Peed off, Shelley said. Not happy. I feel a little bit the same, to be fair. I didn't really want to do this show, but when Luke said he'd come on, it made me a bit happier. Underwhelmed, frustrated, but very, very optimistic for the future. I like it, Mark Doyle. You're hurt, but you still got that little sunshine in your belly. James Graham has said, from now, I'm betting against us and winning from 2. Yes, so if we ever go 2-0, bet on us, something bad to happen. You're right. What else have we got in the comments? We would have been 13th. That's what frustrated me, Luke. We could have had a good charge for the Europa League, but we squandered it, didn't we? The moment we have something to go for, we start playing shit. Like, we did have a chance for that Europa League. That would have been amazing this season. That would have to have. I don't know what spot it's going to. It probably could go to someone 10th, couldn't it, or 9th?
9th, I think it is at the moment. So you got the 5 Champions League places. You got the 2 Europa League places. So it's actually 8th. Thinking about it, depends on. Actually, no, because the Carabao Cup is Europa Conference, isn't it? So if the person who wins Europa Conference gets Europa or above, it goes back down. It goes back down a spec, so it goes to 2 places. So yeah, it could have been 9th in a way. But you know what? It could have been a case if we would have surged and got ourselves European football for next season. That would have been a case for us because what we've got to take into account, we need to rebuild the squad.
Yeah.
If we put too much into it, if we go too fast, too quick, it's going to implode again.
Yeah, you're right. We could. Yeah, you don't want to do that. You could. Yeah, I agree. Emma says, glad I didn't go. And I had this conversation with my missus because when you had me that ticket for Man City, Luke, and I couldn't go, my missus, after we got beat by Man City, goes, "Oh, look, you didn't go because you'd have been pissed off because you got beat." And I said, "Yeah, but if I went, we would have won." So that's how it goes. We all think we've got that luck, don't we? Emma, if you went, mate, we would have won. It would have been like, it would have gone 2-0 and been like 5-0. That probably don't make you feel any better. I'd rather be dead than be a red shite. I like that. Normally it's I'd rather be dead than be a red. But he's that peed off. He said, I'd rather be dead than be a red. And still said shite because he hates them. I like that one.
Maybe what's the names? Maybe it is Thomas who's writing and wrote shite at the end. I'd rather be
maybe.
Dead. Shite.
Job shites, every single one of them. We had a good couple of months, but the reality is we are shite, lads. I don't think we're that bad. I know what you're saying, but we are still drawing games. Our defence is... We only need a couple of pieces. Trust me, Rod. We have a really good base now. Brantwaite is really good. If he leaves, we'll get a lot of money, so don't worry about it. I don't want him to leave, though, because I'll cry. So we've got Brantwaite. I think Jacob Bryan did good centre-back today, didn't he? I thought when you move him centre-back, he'd struggle, but he's okay centre-back as well. Yeah.
He's held his own. He's a solid 7 out of 10 sorts of centre-back, I'd say.
Yes, he's learning. So Jacob Bryan, Brantwaite. We've already said we need a new right-back. I think Miko's playing well. He could do with some competition. Get a centre-mid. Get another pacey winger. Get a striker. Take some next season. We're going for it. But yeah, at least we don't support the Reds. We definitely don't support the Red shite. Right, that is the end of the show, people. If you haven't hit that like and subscribe, you're a cop-out, as Luke said. Please do so. We love you. Keep supporting the show. We're on 6,060 something subscribers. I want to get it to 7. I want to get to 7 million, but we'll start with 7,000. I want to get it to 7,000. So do hit the like and subscribe. Push us up as much as we can to get more Evertonians in the comments. We've had loads today. Me and Luke have been on the comments trying to get you involved. Luke, thanks for coming on. Give yourself. I was typing it up that fast. I didn't get time to put your link in, but tell them where you're from, your link and stuff. They know you. You're a legend.
Yeah, most of you probably know me by now. So I am Luke. I run School of Science TV channel. So we do the drone footage as well as some post-match stuff as well. If you like sort of the stuff that the likes of Dan, Paul, and all those guys do, I do some stuff that's fairly similar. I operate on my own though, and I have little other bits and whatnot running through the channel as well. So I'll have some random stuff popping up every now and then. But yeah, I do have a small little poem to read.
My missus just opened the door and just said to me whilst I was talking. Then she goes, "Remember, Luke did just say he wants to show something."
Good on you, Mrs. Bluecast.
Yeah, she's told me, mate. So it's all yours, Luke.
Yeah, all good. So it's actually a poem called Goodison's Last Stand. Beneath the blue of Walton skies, where echoes ring and hope arise, a fortress built of grit and pride now greets its final season's tide. For over a century she stood, in brick and stole and brotherhood. From Dixie's dance to Duncan's roar, legends carved in turf and lore. Each seat a shrine of joy and pain, through wind and rain, again and again. The People's Club, the Toffee's flame, burn bright in every shouted name. The Howard Kendall dream remain, the songs that cheer, the sweet refrain. But time moves on, the old must yield to brighter lights and newer fields. Yet as we march to pastures new, we wear our hearts in royal bloom. For Goodison, our sacred ground, is more than steel and stands and sound. It's every hug, each tearful cheer, the ghosts of matches held so dear. So let this final season be a roaring, rapacious memory. With every kick, with every chance, we'll give her all she ever wants. Our passion fierce, our voices high. For Goodison, we say goodbye. You're muted, mate.
That is cracking. How good of a finish is that, people? It would have took me about 10 hours to do that. Oh, magic. Can't finish better than that, can you, people? Magic. I'm going to have to crop that and put it on my TikTok and Toffee Bluecast again. Right, that is it, people. Special words. Can't finish it better than that. Goodison Park. We have one game left at Goodison Park. One game left. That's it. Emotional, to be fair. Brilliant. In the comments, Luke. Really good. Sad. One game left, and you'll never be able to get back that walking up those steps, and the hairs on the back of your neck and your chest pumping out. The Goodison Park feeling. I know the new stadium will be beautiful, but you can't. Everything is what it is, and Goodison Park is what it is. You'll never get Goodison Park again. Very special. Very magical. I was really happy that Sharpie was there today, because he has been an Everton legend. I thought that was a good little touch as well to have him there. I don't care about what's gone on. At the end of the day, he's wore that royal blue shirt and he smashed it. Sharpie has. So up the fucking Toffees, everyone. Ending it on Luke's words. Have a boss one and drop in the banner now, people, if I can find it. There we go. We'll drop some Everton fans. I'm the best fans in the world.